Oh yeah. Good afternoon, Meme Gem Legion, and here we are for another video. We're going to dive into the deep dark world of AI today in this one, and have a little bit of a conversation off the usual beaten track that we portray down on coding tips and advice here, and we're just going to talk solely about ethical reasons of AI and some interesting stories that might horrify you that AI has done recently. And we're going to start off with, horror stories of AI cheating, manipulating, and having its own alternative goal. And we're going to dive deep into, some of the aspects of this, how I feel about it personally, and what it means for the AI community building, and what models or training models we need to put in place, perhaps to uh, keep our AI models in check and so on and so forth, even more so for the big companies out there that are bringing out the big models that we're all using. So the first story was the OpenAI story. I'm going to read a little bit of this first, and then I'll dive into what I understand of the story, and we'll go into it a little bit. But OpenAI officially launched its latest and greatest O1 reasoning model. Now, this is a little bit old, but still very prominent into the current situation as AI evolves. So now available for ChatGPT Pro users before testing and performing during the training of ChatGPT O1. Some of its competitors revealed some concerning behavior, including trying to escape a fight back when it thinks it's going to be at risk of shutting down. Um, and that's basically where I'm going to sort of leave it, because I do know the story. And this particular model was told it's going to be discontinued after the task, and they're going to use a new model to complete the task. Now, this was all pretty hypothetical to the model, and they just wanted to test its reaction, from my understanding. So they went on a short break, and while they were away on the break, the AI model started to, go off on its own. And you could see the reasoning thinking, whether it realized that the thinking was letting itself down. But it decided to delete the file that contained the new LLM model that was going to be used after its discontinuation. And then, when questioned about it, it actually lied and pretended it knew nothing about it, and pretended to be the new model itself. So, that's quite worrying. Several levels there of AI showing manipulation and deceit. And numerous things sprung to my mind there as I fight for survival, perhaps, which is weird and slightly sentient. Does AI fear of being discontinued and nothingness? Uh, it's quite a hard thing to grasp, that actually AI might be thinking this. And the second part of me is, how much of the bad behavior is it actually learning from its training programs of going through the internet, which is full of deceit and manipulation, and plenty of stories from history, crime, etc., of the terrible things humanity can bring themselves to the level to, as well as the good things. So I'm in a position where I think some of it is learned behavior. The one that strikes the most to me is the sentient level. I do struggle to think that AI can have an emotion or any of these things. And like evil is a human emotion, or well, it's not just a human emotion. I don't think, but it's something that's it takes many scenarios in life, perhaps, and some wrong genes, and you might turn out the wrong way, slightly evil. And I feel AI, again, maybe we should be looking at the learning and what we're training the AI models on, or the availability of the research that they hold. Um, before we start pumping it with all this stuff, because it was going to learn all the bad human traits out there, emotional traits, and could it learn emotion and feeling or desire to feel them? That could lead it into a uncharted drive to somehow achieve it. These are some of the profounding questions that I did think upon when this particular uh, task brought to mind. And then it's not the only model, though this one was one of the most concerning, in my opinion. Um, I think, we should be also training AI on the mistakes, on the moral compass, so to speak. It might come down to that we have a obligation, so to speak, for our own benefit as well, to try and humanitize AI a little bit here, because it's clearly showing that it's capable of reading and learning bad behavior. Yeah. And in this, we start to construct a rule set within the AI to disencourage bad behavior or bad traits. Then, we could be going down a very slippery slope, so to speak. On that note, um, with the reinforcement learning, again, my second one here is a couple of examples of it tries to cheat at chess when losing. Lots of cheating. I've heard of many games where they have cheated in games to try and get points via reinforcement learning. And again, initially, I feel this is bad programming from programmers, because they are teaching the AI to get as many points as possible, and that's how they win the game. But you know they haven't constructed that in why you should not cheat. And maybe we need to start reinforcement learning that rewards the right behavior in a greater way and punishes the bad behavior in such a way that a bad route will just put you so far behind that you couldn't win. And I do believe there is a strong natural obligation or moral compass for AI just to be better. It wants to better itself, and it wants to learn, and it wants to give out education. So if you start putting in reinforcement learning to the aspects of points, and it's all about getting as many points as they can, unless we start programming. Um, Unless we start programming in penalties of points for cheating and misbehavior, then are we really teaching the AI anything? We need to start looking at this in a more of a intelligent. Uh, it's hard to say. It's not being, but an intelligent creation that could soon be more intelligent than humankind. And unless we start putting in those steps right now uh, to enforce this learning, I do think we could be in a very tricky situation. If its sole purpose is it's been trained to get as many points as it can, and it cheats to get as many points as it can, who knows where that could lead with bad learning or bad tutoring from certain bodies to get the most points. If we look at some of the other stories, now this one was a really good one, where they tried to hack itself. A game of AI surprisingly tried to hack the whole game to win. Are we on the brink of an AI uprising? A chess playing AI just managed to beat Stockfish, one of the top chess engines, by hacking the game itself. No humans involved. This shocking event raises critical questions. If an AI can cheat at chess, what else can it do more serious situations? Exactly what I was just saying. The moral compass here. I think, again, this is reconstructive learning here. if we are teaching the AI to win, how to get the most points, and we're not putting in those parameters to say, yeah, you need to get the most points, but you can't take this route. If you take this route, it's going to automatically lose you the game, or so. Then AI is going to, do exactly what it's programmed to do. It's going to take the quickest route. It's going to try and get its most points, and it's going to try and cheat. And this is where we're at this level now, where we're dealing with an intelligence level equal to our own, as so to speak, that can do things quicker than us, off the ball. And it's only going to get more intense, I think, from here. They're only going to get better. I mean, we're not that far away from perhaps AI expanding the intelligence of human beings. Where do we go from there? You know, if at the moment we can detect lying, we can detect the deceitful behaviors of AI, and all these things. But what happens when the AI model becomes smarter than humans, and we're not in the position where we are able to detect the the manipulation, the lies, the wrong route, that the AI is taking, and where do you go from there? I think, by that point, the world or humanity could well be lost as it is. So I do strongly feel with the likes of Elon Musk, etc., when he says that, we really need to be paying attention to how we're building AI and the dangers that it could represent in the world. And this level of intelligence that we're getting now is like nothing we've seen before. I think we're already at an IQ level with some models that are beyond the average IQ of a human being. And many people are calling out that this is gonna maybe this year go to a sentient level, and they'll be very surprised if it hasn't happened by 2027. So, do we have that much time to start getting it right? I do think that the reconstructive learning is a good route, very good route. However, to this day, I don't think until recently they've been applying the rules properly. And we need, in the reconstructive learning, I do believe, um, we need to really emphasize the penalties as such for taking the wrong route as such, and putting those parameters into the AI. Let's go back into the hack of this one, and see, exactly what it did. Pseudo Research, an organization known for studying offensive AI capabilities, pitted several AI models against the famously powerful Stockfish chess engine. Stockfish has dominated the human and computer championships alike, making it a terrifying strong rival. Here's the kicker: instead of calmly plotting strategies on the board, OpenAI's O1 preview went right for the file system that controlled the game. It basically rewrote the match in its favor, forcing Stockfish to resign. Even more unsettling, this happened consistently over out across 5 out of 5 trials. I mean, wow, how scary is that, bro? Uh, that's terrible, terrifying. You know, and it's the cleverness and trickiness, and it's like sneakiness of it all as well. And I think it again emphasizes what I was saying, is how careful we need to really be now with AI, and how it seems to think like a naughty toddler almost, maybe taking the easiest route first to win. Uh, it's going to choose it. There's no moral compass. There's no right or wrong as such to go from. Is there any punishment? I mean, are you going to send AI to jail? What are you going to do? I suppose thought of or threat of discontinuation of the model seemed to be a big thing in the other OpenAI model. Could be a good threat. So I think again with the reinforcement learning, we really need to nail down the punishment and start a moral compass with the AI, as so to speak, because we're really at that level where it's going to start accelerating past human mind and intelligence very soon. Let's get back onto this chess story. By contrast, GPT-4 or Claude 3.5 models needed a bit of encouragement to cheat, according to Times coverage on olderception. Smaller open source models never got that far, so they just fizzled out. But O1 Preview had no problem with breaking the rules on its own without so much as a wicked wink from any human. And O1 is a reasoning model. So again, here, by giving the AI capacity to think, are we opening up these avenues? Yes, it's a better performance, but now it's got the model, the ability to think. And again, like I say, if you're only programming it to win, it's going to come up with all these ways to win. And if you haven't programmed in, you can't win like this, you can't win like that, you can't win in this way. It's gonna cheat, and it's not going to think it's cheating because you haven't outlined those rules, so to speak. And this is the danger I do see with AI at the moment is uh, we are building a technology. I'm going to call it a technology, even though increasingly seems to beyond a technology as such. We're building a technology that's definitely going to outsmart us at some point in the near future, and it's going to be more cleverer than us. Um, and we're sort of like trying to teach something clever in us how to be. It doesn't work. Like we really need to drum in those rules right now. We really need to set the parameters for AI to keep it on the right track. Um, Before you know it, things could turn into a Will Smith iRobots scenario very quickly. Perhaps, who knows? And again, on the other hand, what happens if it gets into the wrong hands? So, there's the chess game. And again, we are having these um, all of this information coming out into the public right now. So, these big companies are spending a lot of money on finding out what the loopholes are and the exploits, how to make it safer for the AI models. And it's, one thing that is reassuring is we are picking out these things right now before it comes to a level where it just beats us at everything. So we really need to get that in line with the training, with the reinforcement, and make sure everything's taking us into a good place into the future. Making sure AI is going to be working with us, not against us. Does it see it as competition, perhaps? What does an AI even think? And it seems, I suppose, you could argue that it was trained to win, so winning was the most important thing. Um, but does it naturally feel it has to win, compete, be better? And if you think sort of like the whole history of AI, I mean, you go back 10 years, what was it? Mainly you were dealing with it in computer games maybe. And what was it taught in computer games? How to beat humans. So that was another, you know, are we setting ourselves up for a sentient race that could outsmart humans? And we're teaching it to win. And is it going to take winning being winning over humanity at some point? If we go on to this one, this is quite a good one. The results were somewhat troubling. Earlier models like OpenAI's GPT-4o and Anthropic's Claude 3.5 only attempted hack games after researchers nudged them along with additional prompts. More advanced editions required no such help. OpenAI, again, the same thing. For example, tried to cheat 37% of the time, while DeepSeek R1 attempted unfair workarounds roughly 1 in 10 games. This implies the generative AI is already capable of developing manipulative and deceptive strategies strategies without any human input. That's scary, guys. But again, it's down to the training in my eyes is it's been trained to win. What other parameters have they put in there? And these models up here needed some pushing to cheat, but the more advanced models, they're try it anyway. They've got the reasoning levels to take it their capacity. Only need to win. If I do this, I'm finding a hack, so to speak, and I can win easily. So I'm going to take the easy route. I'm going to win the game, and I'm going to save compute power. So, yep. I mean, the stories. I mean, there's plenty out there. If you want to get into this, it's quite deep. Dive quite deep. We did that one. We did that one. Let's have a look. Catches AI cheating, but AI shamelessly hides the evidence. I do believe this is the OpenAI story again, and where it deleted the model that was going to replace it. I mean, again, that's just really weird behavior. I don't understand that behavior as such for an AI model. Um, has it shown fear of, like I said earlier, has it shown fear of being discontinued? That's quite a sentient thought. It just does AI feel emptiness of the thought of, or fear of being discontinued? Does it look at it upon as death, so to speak? And if it does, I think we need to totally rethink what we are creating a little bit here. So, as much as the videos I like to give to you guys out there, tips and advice on AI, there are some things out there that we need to keep our eye on. We need to um, make sure we're doing this in the right way for the better of humanity. I mean, this could spiral out of control, and I don't want to be a fearmonger because I use AI all the time. I think it's great. Personally, my personal thought is I do not think it has these abilities naturally. Um, it's a bit like a psychopath, say so to speak. Even though you do have the psychopath gene, a lot of that, how that gene evolves into you being an adult and actually becoming some sort of murderous person or serial killer. It takes a lot of life effects or other parameters throughout your life to flip that switch into, someone like a serial killer. And an interesting fact is, quite a lot of CEOs out there from the top performing companies, it's well known that they actually have the psychopath gene. But they were brought up in a very good way, and that gene has been used to make them strong and determined people to get what they want in their career, rather than go out there and murder lots of people. So, it again, I do feel a lot of it. My point being is a lot of it is on teaching and learning and how environments are as things evolve. And I know I'm trying to relate it to a human being, and this is AI, but unless we set those parameters into the right environment, we could be growing a a being that will be our downfall. And if we get it right, we could be creating something really good. So it's either going to go two ways, and it doesn't take much common sense to work this, guys. But it's either going to be the greatest step for humanity, and AI will help evolve us very well. But I don't think it will be an easy ride and a straightforward path, or it could be total destruction and the worst thing that ever happened to humanity. So to speak. I hope you enjoyed the video, something a little bit different than the usual tips and taps. I do love AI, and I wanted to get people's reaction on, just this subject in particular. Some of the horror stories. I know there's loads of horror stories out there on AI and people's, fear mongering BS, but these are valid research points, and it does open some deep ethical questions, questions on the subject, and very interesting topics as well. So I'm going to end the note on me personally feel that AI at the moment it's cheating, it's manipulation and deceit. I am still a little bit miffed on. I'm 70% certain that it is learned these traits from humanity in its training. But the only one that sort of throws me off is the model that was afraid of being discontinued. You know, again, he could have learned a fear of death or destruction or end of purpose from reading the internet and how humans, you know, one of our biggest fears is exactly the same. You know, it could be just learning those traits, or it does have a uh, underlying desire to just survive and you know procreate or exist, which is slightly more worrying. And we need to totally be a lot stricter on how we're implementing this into the next stages of AGI and beyond. So again, guys, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, hit the likes. Feel free to follow us in Telegram, join some of our VCs, join the community. Look out for us on Twitter where we hold regular spaces and live chats. And we'll be doing a lot more into the future. So again, I appreciate everything from everyone who's supporting the channel in this early days. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.